I would do my own research, but it's a cool area to kind of explore and say, where does it make sense right now to actually buy? And again, you will see that this sort of central area makes way more sense. You will see that a lot of the buy opportunities are towards the southern states. Hey all, Nev here, and I have super exciting stuff for you. So, we've been talking a little bit about affordability and what markets are going up, what markets are going down. You might have heard of a thing called Atom Data, and in case you're wondering what it is, that's whose website we're on. They're located on ATTOM data, data.com. So atomdata.com. And yeah, you can see their logo right here. So no big secret, no big surprise. But what I wanted to share with you is that recently they have put in some information about affordability. Now, this is all done by use of technology, and so these guys are pretty cool with what they provide. And I wanted to share this map with you. A lot of times people ask of, should I buy, should I rent? There's obviously the third option, which is buy a rental and live in it. So that's another option as well. I prefer that option, but to each their own. And not everybody can do that. Not everybody can afford to do that. So, what I wanted to do is I wanted to share with you sort of some of the information that I have been talking about on some of these videos. But it's one thing to like hear it, and it's another thing to see it in action. So, I've been saying how a lot of the coastal areas are very overpriced, and this is the part where it makes more sense to rent. So you will see right here, as my mouse moves, we're actually going from county to county, so it's like popping at it. But you will see right here on the left-hand side, I'm not going to touch the map as much as possible. I'm just going to move the mouse like this. You see a lot of orange. Then in this section right over here, you kind of see that there's quite a bit of blue and then again a bit of orange. So I can actually zoom in. I'm just going to zoom in over here. So you can kind of see as we get into these coastal, look at this, just about entire state of California. And I'm going to actually select the moving thing. Is in orange. You will see that vast majority of Arizona is. When we go to Oregon, Washington, that all is pretty much orange. I mean, look at this, the entire western component, Colorado, and then if we jump over to the East Coast is more or less the same. Let me see if I can zoom in as well a little bit. All right, just a little bit. Sometimes it goes a little bit on the silly side, and you're like, that was too much. But you will see, look at this, all the way from Boston down into New York. I mean, New York is all kind of crazy. Then we have a little bit down here in Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware. And then North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida seems to be more of the buying. Alabama is all just buy, buy, buy. Georgia is a bit mixed. You will see Tennessee is predominantly on the buy end. For some of the states in here, they don't even have information. Let me see if I can zoom out just a little bit. But you will see, this is what I was saying of the some of the interstates makes more sense to buy just because of the cost. So you can actually play around with this map if you want to. I'm going to zoom in over here. Let's go a little bit to the East Coast. I like Boston. It's close enough. So let's kind of take a look at it. So you will see, all right, so here we go, some of the areas of Boston, and you will see it will give you some information about it. Now, the one part that I count a little bit on the challenging piece, it's not a big deal. You got to do the math, but they'll give you the three-bedroom rent on monthly basis, right? And then we'll give you weekly wages, which is sort of silly, right? We like to compare. I don't know about you, but I like to compare week to week, month to month, year to year, that kind of stuff. So when you give me one information in a week and one information in a month and another information in a year, then I have to sit down and do some math. So I actually wish that they would break this down a bit, but it gives you some rough data, rough information about it. They kind of break this down a bit interesting. So you will see that this one right here that I am on will say Suffolk County, Boston, Cambridge, Newton, right area, which Newton is actually quite a bit up. And then I go over here and you will see it's Middlesex, and it's again Boston, Cambridge, Newton, Mass. And it's very different. So please do pay attention, because you'll notice in some of the, and again, Norfolk again, same thing. So some of the areas are, I don't know how exactly they break it down, so I don't understand all of the data. So Rhode Island, I'm very familiar with Rhode Island. Clearly, I live there. But you will see they show Providence, Warwick here. Meanwhile, then you'll have it here, Providence, Warwick, Bristol County, which is not really Providence, but then you have Providence over here as well, and Providence over here, and it's not all Providence. I can assure you of that. If you actually, let me see. If we actually pay attention, like Providence is right over here, technically speaking. Right down here is actually Newport, Bristol, that kind of area. Warwick is down here. This is the South County. So you will see that it doesn't always give the best. So don't just go by Metropolitan State Authority. Do pay attention to the county because it's not as accurate. So that's kind of one piece that I have found very interesting. Oh no, 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 no! Don't scroll, don't scroll. Hold on. Okay. Whew. Let's go home. Go home. E.T. go home. All right. So let's go jump over to the upper West Coast area, the Pacific Northwest. And you will see that there are some very few blue areas. So, for example, you will see the Douglas County over in Oregon, more of a buy than a rent. But if you go up towards Multnomah County over in Portland, Vancouver area, of course, rental is going to make some more sense. Same thing goes for Seattle. There we go, King County, Seattle. It will talk about that it makes way more sense to actually rent. There's one area up north that says it makes more sense to buy. So anyways, it was just a really cool place. I wouldn't rely solely on this. I would do my own research, but it's a cool area to kind of explore and say, where does it make sense right now to actually buy? And again, you will see that this sort of central area makes way more sense. You will see that a lot of the buy opportunities are towards the southern states, some over in the central area. That some of the stuff is just sort of where it is. What this doesn't take into the account is the moving of the people. So that whole like who's going where and kind of how things are, where a population is going, where the jobs are growing, and that's something that you definitely want and absolutely need to do when you're considering buying, renting, or do anything. What I also love about this stuff is that if you can find areas that are well poised for rental, and you can buy it well under market and rent it, you actually might position yourself in an amazing, amazing opportunity. So that's just something to pay attention to. I hope this was helpful to you. Again, this you can find this information on our atomdata.com. So it's ATTOMDATA.com. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay forever money blessed, and do remember, you are only one deal away.
I want you to be happy. Don't you want to be happy? I want to be happy.